Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In the Ramayana, Sri Rama's father had shared with him that you will become the future king of Ayodhya, which is a lovely kingdom. Shortly after, his father and stepmother, I'll use that term for simplicity, share in an indirect and direct way that he will no longer be the future king of Ayodhya, but rather will be exiled from Ayodhya for 14 years. When he was told he was going to be the king of Ayodhya, he smiled. When he was told that he will be exiled from Ayodhya, he smiled, and he told his biological mother that my father and stepmother have given me a much bigger kingdom now. And I'm going for 10 years, and then I'll go for another 4 years. I'm thinking about this because around 14 years ago, I was preparing to finish in our Vedanta course. And so I'm encouraging everyone now to relax the body, enjoy the breath, quieten the mind by appreciating what you have. Ma vidvishavahai. May we understand ourselves. May we understand our opportunities. In the first part of Bhagavad Gita's chapter 3, Sri Krishna has given us a most practical framework on how what Sri Krishna is feeling, we can feel. Right now, we are feeling what Prince Arjuna is feeling: stress, anxiety, dejection. If you remember back in chapter 2, when Prince Arjuna shares with Sri Krishna, I will not fight, I will not speak. And what does Sri Krishna do? He smiles. And then he starts to teach how we can shift from feeling like Prince Arjuna to Sri Krishna is yajna. Yajna means dedication. Later on, another word for yajna is bhakti, which also means devotion or dedication. The application of yajna brings us the rains that was shared in verse 14 and then 15, the rains which symbolize prosperity. If you think of successful people in life, they're dedicated to a field, whether it's business or looking after a home. But those who are experiencing this prosperity and they think about it, they grow out of that prosperity into peace. That is anna, or food. I'm practicing intermittent fasting. And I exercise in the morning. So by the time of lunch, I'm super hungry or super not peaceful. And as soon as food comes, I'm super, super peaceful. And that is to be our nature, Bhuta. This is what yajna can do for us. In the Upanishad, this is more direct, where the teaching is yajno ve Vishnuhu, that yajna is Bhagavan Vishnu or Sri Krishna. This is such a simple chapter where the positive is shared, but comparisons are given. That this is what you can experience, or mityachara, which means hypocrisy. It's when you're saying, we'll say your words are sattvic. They're about quietness, but your thoughts and actions are not. So one doesn't feel like Sri Krishna. Another comparison is stena, which means thief. If I keep going with this framework, that would be like rajas, where I am thinking that I can create joy. So I'm thinking it, I'm saying it, I'm acting it. There's an integrity there, but it's integrity in the wrong direction. And another comparison is mogha, which means vain. And I shared that vanity is like living in a python, where one is living by tamas, where one thinks they can't be like Sri Krishna. Summarizing this in a numerical way before we get to our next verse. Prince Arjuna asks a question. It's not so much a question, but a statement in verses 1 and 2. In verses 3 through 9, Sri Krishna offers logic, a logical approach to Prince Arjuna's feelings. In verses 10 through 15, he offers theology. Here's logic, and here's how it looks in a metaphysical way. For the one who does not follow this logic and theology, that came out in verse 16. Hypocrisy, being a thief, being vain. And now in verses 17 and 18, Sri Krishna sharing, for the one who does climb this ladder, flows with the wheel of life, this is what they will feel. And then in verse 19, a completion to this thought is offered. Verse 17. Verse 17. I'm thinking about the conclusion. Yastvatmaratireva syat atmatriptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. Yaha. Yaha means who. Who has these characteristics, who's practicing. Tu means indeed or but. Compared to the one in verse 16, there is this one in verse 17. Atma ratihi syat. They are not living for pleasure, but they're living for peace. And now the word eva means only. They're only living for what Sri Krishna is feeling. Remember I said later on in Bhagavad Gita, this will be bhakti. But what kind of bhakti? Ananya bhakti, where one is dedicated to no other. Now another framework is given here of intensity. Atma ratihi, then Atma tripta. One who is satisfied in their nature. And the word manavaha is used, the human who is enjoying their nature, the one who's satisfied in their nature. In the third quarter, one more intensification is given. Atmani santushtaha. The one who is content in their nature. And finally, tasya karyam na vidyate. For such a being, there is no more work. See, selflessness is only required for one who is selfish, but for the one who is the self, they don't have to practice selflessness. This is natural to them. That's the point of them not having any responsibilities. Responsibilities are a means, not the ends. They're already at the ends, so they don't have any responsibilities. Let me open this up some. Rati is like an experience of joy. It's like tasting joy. Then tripta is to evolve this experience where it's not a taste anymore. You're becoming what you're tasting. And this becomes clear with santushta, which means you're established in this joy. Do you all see this intensification? If I use a food example, the word anna came and I'm hungry. So you have food in your mouth, it brings you some relief. This food is in your stomach, it brings you more relief. This food becomes your strength. It becomes the most relief. Yes? Okay. When one is pursuing peace, then that pursuit, action is involved, responsibility is involved. But when one is peaceful, that pursuit ends. That's called naishkarmya. That siddhi that they have, the power they have, is that they don't have to pursue anymore. And that's amazing because we keep working and working and working, and there's no rest then. Here Shri Krishna is highlighting that there is rest. It's possible. A word to describe this is kritakritya. All that is to be done is done. The purpose of life is now being experienced. Reflect on this and sharing again why this is being shared. From verses 3 to 15, Shri Krishna is sharing how we should live. You don't, you'll experience 16. If you do, you'll experience 17. You'll experience your nature, which is of peace. You'll become more authentic, more deep. From inspiration to application, your application was to think who or what saved you. From vanity to meaning, for me, it's very clear. It is Advaita Vedanta. It is this map. What's above the map, divinity, what's below the map, one's guide. This has saved me. I feel the first 24 years of my life, these words like hypocrisy and thief and vanity completely describe who I was. Now I'm trying to climb this ladder. I'm trying to flow with this wheel. It is because of the science of oneness. Your application for this morning, we are coming to the completion of this semester of Meaningful Mornings. And what better way to do this than to focus on independence? It is Bharat, India's Independence Day on August 15th. And so we will have a celebration in Meaningful Mornings and throughout the day. Make sure that you're part of this. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.